And it's a different language. Athletes in America are people who do sport. Athletes in Europe earn their living doing sport. Huge distinction, huh? How many people like to do sport? Cool, now we're getting somewhere. How many people don't like to do sport? How many people didn't raise their hand yet? Okay, we're getting somewhere. I've got some people no raise hand, any of those three. The athlete has special considerations. Oh, what fun we have. The athlete has special considerations. Oh, you can't see that. You did not pay for that. People go to hospital and they still get well. In spite of the drugs, in spite of the food, they still get well. It's pretty amazing. We make fun of hospital food even in Europe, I'm sure. Because they have two things. They have rest, plenty of rest, and they have someone else saying, don't worry about a thing, we'll take care of you, you just get well. So they have at least this much going for them. But in the intensive care unit of the hospital, they must take better care of the athlete or of every individual. They must take better care of every individual in intensive care because otherwise they're going to die. Whereas in the hospital, they're probably going to get well. Even in spite of the food and in spite of the drugs and in spite of the invasion. But in intensive care, they must take better care of you. And they do. And they give you everything you need so that you can do a technical term. The technical term is recovery. Oddly, in sport, we use the same term, recovery. But typically, we think of it as something different than recovery from intensive care so that you can be well enough to go to hospital. We think of these two things as different when in fact they are one and the same. And the exact same conditions, substances, forces, and influences, about that. The exact same conditions, substances, forces, and influences are required for the athlete to get well, for the athlete to recover, so that the athlete can again perform, as what we must provide for the person in intensive care, so that they can get better tomorrow than they are today. Because for some of them, just breathing is hard work. It's such hard work to keep the heart beating, right? And the liver, liver. Most people, liver is over here. Not everybody. Some people have a right-sided, left-sided liver. But for most people, it's over here. And we need to keep the liver living. And there's a lot of work because it's doing 1 million chemistry jobs every second of every day, all the time. Maybe many millions. There's a lot of chemistry happening in your liver. There's only some chemistry happening in your kidneys. So we got to keep the liver living and the kidneys kidding. And isn't it a good thing we don't have pistons? Because imagine what they would be doing. Oh, this doesn't go over well in German at all. It was funny in Ohio. So, what do they need? There is a term, 80-10-10. It's a professional term in the world of nutrition. It has a specific meaning. If that's for me, just tell them I'm busy. There's also a term in real estate, a different profession. But they have a term called 80-10-10. Same term. It means something different. In computer, they use lots of terms that they took from medicine. You know, we have worms and infections and all sorts of terms, but they mean different things in different professions. In this case, we've got two different professions using the term, and it means the exact same thing. And this is very, very difficult for people to buy because it's not taught that way. I went through medical school. I went through sports physiology training. They taught us two completely different concepts. And so when I went out in private practice, I'm taking care of my sickest of the sick. I mean, who's coming to me? People coming to me have been to 33 other places first. Last thing they want to do is come to me. They don't want to fast. They don't want to do raw food. They don't want to go low-fat, raw vegan. They don't want to be responsible for their lifestyle. They don't want to give up meat, cheese, dairy, ice cream, cake, candy, soda, beer, pizza, hot dogs, cheeseburgers. It's funny, you know, when a child is walking with their mother down the street, and they walk down the street and there's a dead animal in the street, and the little child is curious. He wants to see it. He wants to start to walk over, and the mother says, "No, don't touch that. That's dirty. We're going to eat that for dinner." Like, it seems so, it is so bizarre. The whole thing is bizarre. But in this case, I'm helping sick people get well. And the people who come to me were, and still are very often, people who tell me everyone has told them it's hopeless. There's nothing else can be done for you. I'm working with a client now where 3 different doctors said, quote, "Why don't you just give up?" Meaning, why don't you just give up and die? And this girl does not want to die. She's 18 years old. She doesn't want to die. She's got big dreams. And I think she's going to make a big influence on the world. When she starts telling her story, nobody's going to even believe it. I've always loved sport. I remember being 4 years old doing sport in school. I could run fast. Faster than most of the other 4-year-olds in my little school. I don't know what we have, 10 boys or something. I thought it was like the fastest thing in the world. It took a while to find out I wasn't the fastest. The pool was very small. But I've always loved sport. And when I was 3 or 4, maybe 2, when I was 2, we were on a little boat, 5 meters long, and too many people in the boat. For sure, there was 4 adults, 4 children. And I was 2, and I only know this story because it's been told to me, not because I have any memory of it at all. I do not remember this. But I have pictures of it in my mind. I know exactly where it happened.